Hey paper crafters, welcome to another Design with Jo video. I'm Joanne Rogers, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. Today's card is a really pretty and delicate card that takes no time to put together. I recently needed to make a number of swaps for team members, and this was the card that I chose to make. So it has an inside and it has a beautiful outside that I'm hoping you can see the embossing when I hold that around. So I want to show you how quickly it is to make using your die cutting machine and your Stamparatus. Let's get started. These are all the supplies that we're going to use. We're going to use our Magnolia 3D embossing folder with our 3D embossing plate and our Big Shot platform if you're working with the Big Shot. We're going to use the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set, and that is a duo set. You need to have some basic gray cardstock cut 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 and folded in half. Some Blushing Bride that is 4 by 5 1/4. A piece of Whisper White that is 4 by 5 1/4, and one that is 3 3/4 by 5. You need your Stamparatus, your snail, a sponge dauber, and then 2 colors. We are going to go with the basic gray and with the Blushing Bride. The first thing you're going to do is run that 3 3/4 by 5 piece of Whisper White through the Magnolia embossing folder. So I just put that in right to the top. You're not going to get the entire flower in there, but I'm going for the larger one mainly. You're going to use your 3D embossing plate. And I have a video on when you should be using this plate, and you can see it up in the top right corner. And then just run that through your die cutting machine. Now I have my Magnolia embossed. I'm going to take my piece of cardstock, and I've just made myself a couple little tick marks here because that is where I want to put my paper. I sometimes will have my paper moved over a little bit away from this corner because it seems to give just a little better impression. So I'm going to put that and hold it in place with my magnets. And I've already put my words in place. And I'm going to go, thanks is just going to go on the front of the card. So I'm just going to tap on my ink and make sure I have pretty good coverage and come across and stamp my thanks. And I think maybe I'm just going to do that one more time. It looks like I'm just missing because I'm going a tiny little bit over top of the flower. I need to just do it again and press just a little bit harder there. And then we have a nice bold thanks. And while I have my Stamparatus out, I'm just going to also do the inside of the card. So first thing I want to do is clean up my thanks, and I'm using my Simply Chamois, which is a little bit dirty, but that's okay. That's what they're for. Clean that up, and then I'm going to lift up my plate, take it right out, and you want to make sure that you are right at a 90-degree angle. Turn it around, and I have my flower on this part here. So I'm going to put my paper in. This time I'm going right to the corner. And it really is personal preference. Wherever you want to put your paper, where you find that to be the most comfortable, go ahead and do that. So I'm just inking this up with the Blushing Bride, put my flower down, and I'm going to try not get too dark on there. So I just want a light layer. And then I'm going to use my basic gray on my inside verse, ink that up, and pull that across and stamp right over top. And again, I'm not going to press so hard. And actually that looks great. And now that I've done that, I'm just going to take out my stamped pieces and we're going to put our card together. I do want to add just a little bit of pink to the middle of my magnolias. So I'm going to take my sponge dauber, put my finger in, pick up just a tiny little bit of color, and I'm just going to lightly rub that over top of the raised image, the embossed image. And I'm just wanting a very light little touch of color, just very faint, just to have a really pretty color. And now we're just going to put our card together. So pull in all of your pieces. I'm going to take my piece of Blushing Bride and I'm going to put that right into the middle of my card, trying to get it as straight as possible. And I'm going to use snail on here. You could use liquid glue because this, even though this has a very nice, very deep impression, normally I would recommend that you use your liquid glue or tear and tape. But I found on this one that snail will work fine. I do give it just a little bit more, however. And this is a great card for putting in the mail because there isn't any embellishments on it. So there's nothing that's going to be sticking up in the mail. So I have that placed down, and then all I'm going to do do is put a little bit of snail on the inside of the card, and we will be done. So there's your card. If you wanted to, you could take a little Wink of Stella, and we'll take just a little bit of Wink of Stella and we'll put it right over top of our pink here. And that just gives a little bit of something when the card is opened. So a very simple but pretty thank you card that you can make multiples of very, very quickly by running through your embossing folder and then using your Stamparatus. I hope that idea gave you just a little bit of inspiration and you're going to give it a try. If it did, please like this video below and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you're not yet on my mailing list, why not pop on over to www.designwithjo.ca and get yourself signed up. I post weekly tips and tricks, all kinds of designs and ideas, and all the latest news in the Stampin' Up! Paper crafting world. I'd love to have you join in there too. Thanks very much and have a great paper crafting day.